Millions of people supported him because they believed he was fighting corruption and standing up to the political establishment. But now, in his second term, things feel different. Politics isn't really about policy anymore. It's about identity. This isn't new. Identity politics has existed for centuries. Even the Romans understood it. You don't run on ideas, you create teams, rivals, enemies. You make people feel like they belong to something. Modern politics works the same way. It's closer to a sports league than a policy debate. And one politician that understands this clearly is Gavin Newsom. Back when Trump and DeSantis were positioning themselves for president, DeSantis suddenly challenged Newsom to a debate. That caught a lot of people off guard. Newsom responded by saying he didn't understand why DeSantis wanted to debate him, but that he'd do it anyway, and then followed up by mocking DeSantis' failing campaign. That response wasn't accidental. It was a Trump-style rhetoric used by a Democrat. Newsom knows how to project strength, control the narrative, and turn politics into a personality contest. Whether you like him or not, he plays the modern game very well. Now, yes, California has serious policy problems. Cost of living is out of control, and even people making six figures are struggling. But here's the reality. Policy doesn't win elections on its own anymore. Image does. Identity does. And that brings up a bigger question. If politics is about identity now, what happens to the Republican Party after Trump? Donald Trump didn't just change the Republican Party, he became it. During his first term, Trump was at his most popular. Millions of people supported him because they believed he was fighting corruption and standing up to the political establishment. But now, in his second term, things feel different. The question isn't just will Trump win, it's can the GOP exist without him? MAGA was more than a slogan. It was an identity, and identities are hard to replace once they fade or fracture. Many Republicans still try to win with policy arguments, statistics, restraint, but they're up against a political culture driven by emotion, narrative, media dominance. So, while Democrats build up a cultural power, Republicans often look like they're trying to fight a street brawl with a rule book, and that creates vulnerability, which leads to another shift happening right now, one that could reshape both parties. For decades, Democrats didn't have to compete for the black vote. They routinely received over 90% support. It was automatic, but that's changing. In recent years, that number has dropped closer to 70%. And Donald Trump, against all expectations, broke records for Republican support among black voters compared to past GOP candidates. That shift matters. It forces the Democrats to ask uncomfortable questions. Do they change their messaging? Do they double down on identity politics? Or do they risk losing ground they once took for granted? At the same time, Republicans haven't fully capitalized on the shift either. They've gained attention, but not long-term loyalty. So now both parties have a problem. Neither side is as dominant as they once were. Which brings us to a final question. Who actually has the final advantage? If I'm being honest, my gut says Democrats still do. They understand culture, media, and identity politics more than Republicans do. They know how to shape narratives and mobilize emotion, while Republicans often rely on logic and policy in a political environment that no longer rewards it. So, if politics today isn't about policy, but about identity, energy, and perception, who do you think is really going to win?